Hello, everybody. It is Tom, and I'm back. Yay! Well, kind of. As most of you know, I had top surgery on Tuesday, and so here we are on Sunday morning, and I'm finally somewhat able to, move around and do things and not feel awful. So here I am. So I thought I would update you guys because, I mean, honestly, you folks are the reason that I was able to do this, and I am so grateful to everyone who donated to my GoFundMe and was just so supportive and so amazing. And yeah, so thank you so much. I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about everything and what's going on and stuff like that. So also I'm in a race with the sun because the sun is rising, and so I'll probably be blasted by sunlight pretty soon, but for now we're okay. Anyway, yeah, okay. So last Tuesday, my friend Emily accompanied me downtown to the surgical center where I was going to get my procedure done. And it was originally scheduled to start at 7 a.m., but they moved it forward to 8 a.m. And at first I was like, this is terrible because that's an extra hour that I'm not allowed to eat or drink because you can't eat or drink anything. Like they said, after 10 p.m. the night before, no food, no drink. And as someone who like drinks a ridiculous amount of water and needs to eat every few hours to avoid feeling like, "Ugh," I was very concerned about that. But it ended up being fine, and like the fact that it had been moved forward to 8 o'clock meant that I could wake up basically at the same time as usual, and it was all good. Yeah, so we got to the surgical center. It was fine. We took a lift because, taking public transportation to my surgery did not appeal. And so, like, we were in the waiting room for a while. I had to fill out a bunch of forms. They took me back into, your typical, like, hospital room with the bed and everything. And, like, they're like, okay, get completely undressed and put this hospital gown on, and there's like this giant picture window in front of me, and I'm like, I really hope this is mirrored glass, because if it's not, I'm giving somebody a big show in the office building across the way. But yeah, so I was pretty nervous, but also excited because great thing that I was really looking forward to. But I also suffer from anxiety, so I was very worried. But it ended up being cool. The anesthesiologist came in and she was really nice, and all the nurses were cool. They misgendered me a few times, but I was like, you know what, I don't care. It's fine. But it's weird because like they gave me a wristband that said Thomas on it because that is my name, and it said male on it because I am male, and my voice is low and I have facial hair, but because of the presence of boobs, they were like she. I'm like, okay, just whatever, you guys. They were very nice, and I don't think it was like an intentional like we are transphobic thing. I think it was more just like they just didn't get it. But I think it was only one nurse that did that, and she did it in a very friendly way and corrected herself as soon as Emily like jumped in. She was like he, and so yeah, yeah. Yeah, time went by really quickly. I was afraid I was gonna be like laying there. So I wasn't allowed to wear my contacts. So I had my glasses, and I wasn't allowed to wear my earring. I had to take my earring out, which was unfortunate because it is a very difficult earring to get back in. Like this morning is the first time that I managed to get it back in. It's been like 5 days. But yeah, so I had my the sun is coming. It's got my ear now. Yeah, so I was afraid I was gonna have to wait there for a long time, but before I knew it, I was handing my glasses and my phone over to Emily, and here I'll shift forward a little bit to hide from the sun, though I don't think I can. That's fine. Yeah, so before I knew it, I was handing my glasses over to Emily and my cell phone, and they were putting a very attractive cap, like surgical cap, over me. They had already done the IV, so there was an IV in my arm, and wheeled me off down the hallway in my bed, in my hospital bed, and yeah, it was. I it was kind of surreal, so I don't think I was as nervous as I would have been otherwise. And, next thing I knew, they put like, a mask over me and were like, breathe. And so I breathed, and next thing I knew, it was like, oh. And then time passed, and suddenly it was several hours later, and the procedure was done. And I had expected, like, they said ahead of time, like, oh, you're not going to remember anything about right after you wake up because you'll be so gone on the anesthesia. And like I was in what I called molasses mode, where like every movement was very, very slow, but I remembered everything fine. I was perfectly coherent. Um, yeah, and so they're like, "Hey, we're done." Like, okay, that's cool. Um, so yeah, so then my friend Sue came and picked Emily and I up and drove me home, and then Emily stayed with me for the first 24 hours, and then beyond that a little bit, and has been checking in after that. But yeah, so for those of you who follow me on social media, you will know that the first 24 hours were kind of interesting because so we got back to my place, got back here. I was resting over on my bed with like my wedge pillow, so I'm propped up like on a mountain of pillows and things, and like eating crackers and broth and drinking water and resting and stuff like that. And around dinner time, Benny, our dear elderly gentleman cat, uh, well, Emily is like, there's blood over here on the floor. It's like, what? And it turns out Benny is bleeding rectally, uh, and that's not good. So first he had thrown up, and then we have like blood coming out of him, which is bad. So I called his vet, and they were like, "Yeah, it sounds like probably constipation, but you should definitely take him to the vet ER because it could be a bowel obstruction, and those things can go south really fast. Like they can kill a cat quite quickly." So we're like, "Well, shit, I'm not allowed. I physically cannot go, and Emily is supposed to stay with me for the first 24 hours because I cannot do anything myself." So we're calling friends, I'm texting texting everyone I know. And luckily my friend Erin, who was working downtown, she lives like way off in the suburbs, but she was working downtown. She's like, "Yeah, absolutely, I can come. I can take him to the vet." So Erin came, Erin took him to the vet. But because they didn't think his situation was super serious, she ended up having to wait for like 4 or 5 hours. And then after that, they were like, "Yeah, it's going to be a few more hours before we can do like x-rays and blood tests and all this stuff." So Aaron's like, "I want to stay with him, but I have work at 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow." And, and she's already like devoted all these out. Like it took her like 2 hours to get here because traffic was bad, and then like 4 hours at the vet, and then they wanted her to stay for like 4 more hours. Like, "No, Aaron, just go home." So luckily the vet recommended there's apparently a pet transport service in Chicago, which is just an absolute lifesaver. Like, I think they're called Chicago Pet Transport. But so I called them and I was like, "Look, my cat is at the vet. There's no one who's going to be able to pick him up, and they're going to be done at like after midnight." And I was like, and the guy's like, "Yeah, that's fine. That's cool. Just call me when you're ready to have him picked up." Like, okay. So, yeah, so Aaron got to go home. The pet transport picked up Benny. It costs $50, which the only other option would have been to have Benny boarded overnight, which would have cost $1,000 on top of the $1,000 I was already paying for all his medical stuff. So like $50 compared to that, and like just wow. So this like the pet transport, they went to the vet, they picked him up, they brought him home. It was fantastic. Highly recommend. Yeah, so long story short, they think Benny has the beginnings of kidney disease, which is not uncommon for a cat his age. He's 15. So we got him some special food and some medicine and stuff like that, and he's been very happy though with his. They had to shave like his wrists to put the IV in and stuff. So like he has little booties, but he's been very content these last few days and very happy that he doesn't have to be at the vet. But when he got home at 1 a.m., it was like 1:15 a.m., he was really out of it from the anesthesia. So, I related very much, but like he's wobbling all over the place and like his pupils are all blown out. And then he spent the entire night running over to the front door, scratching at it and meowing, and then running over to his water bowl, scratching, meowing. So, Emily and I did not get much sleep as a result. Yeah, so it was a fun time. So that was day one, and luckily after that it was far less eventful. Mostly just me resting, eating some nice foods, and Emily cleaning out the litter box and taking out the trash because those were two things I could not do. And yeah, it's been good. Like in terms of how I feel, like so I'll tell you what's going on here. So basically, I'm wearing a compression vest, which is meant to like, keep things in place and help them heal. And I also have drains going on, which basically they are like two little plastic containers that are clipped onto my compression vest, and they have like tubes leading into my incision site uh, to kind of let fluid come out, like drain because they're drains. And so like every now and then when they get a bit full, I have to drain the drains and record how much fluid has come out, and that's been interesting. But yeah, so like I thought I was really worried. Like I was thinking that the drains were gonna be really really tough to deal with, but they've actually been completely fine. Like it's really easy to just like that's me draining the drains. So the drains have been easy. The compression vest is uncomfortable and it smells bad because I only have one and I can't wash it because I have to wear it. But I've kind of gotten used to it. But unfortunately, I have even after. So I have another follow up appointment on Monday. I had my first one last Thursday, and the drains might be coming out on Monday. But even if they do, I still have to wear the compression vest for a full week after that. But yeah, in conclusion, like I haven't. So right now, I'm mostly like covered up by the compression vest. I have had a chance to see my chest a few times, and it looks really good, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, so I mean, it just, I'm really looking forward to not having, all the drains and the compression vest and everything, but it feels really good to have to have my chest feeling like like it's supposed to. Like this is just like, yes, this is how it's supposed to be. This is how it was always supposed to be. I'm very very glad that it is the way it is right now. So, yeah. Yes, and I'm wearing my avocado shirt because I'm not able to wear anything that needs to be pulled on over my head, so I've been going through all my button downs this week. So right now we're on to the avocado. But yeah, in terms of pain, like they sent me home with some heavy duty pain medication, but I didn't take any of it. I just stuck to Tylenol and ice packs, and that ended up being fine. It was mainly uncomfortable when I was moving. Like if I was just laying in bed or just sitting still, it usually didn't hurt that much. But then every now and then the incision site would kind of be like, "Hey, what's up?" And so I would need to like hold frozen peas over them or one of my ice packs. So yeah. So in conclusion, yeah, very happy with everything. Very much looking forward to moving beyond the recovery process, obviously. Oh, and also I have the job that I mentioned last time. I did end up getting an interview with them, so I have an interview with them. Fingers crossed that it goes well, because it would be amazing if I could get this job. So. All right, well, that's about all from me for now. Today, I am going to continue resting, but also I'm going to try to walk to Aldi, which is a few blocks away, and purchase two little things of rice because I've been eating a lot of like those rice packs that you put in the microwave that like 90 seconds and they're done. I've been taking like those and like putting them in a bowl, and then chickpeas or pinto beans and corn and carrots and like just lots of vegetables, and heating it up and putting a little bit of plant-based butter and lemon juice and salt. and that has been like one of my sustaining meals during the healing process, which has been very good. And I also have ramen because you gotta have ramen sometimes. So okay, well, I'm getting very sunlit right now, so I will close this off for now. But thank you again so much, so much. There's no words that I can use to thank you guys enough for making this possible and allowing me to exist in a body that actually feels pretty good. So thank you so much for this. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later. I will hopefully be back with some more Heartstopper comics soon, but who knows when exactly. But yes, okay. All right, see you guys later. Bye. Say you're coming around.